So the design for this wall mount data server is to make sure that I have 16-inch on center to mount to studs, so I have a 1-inch rail on each side, a mounting rail, and then I need enough height to make sure I have room for PCI cards for additional SATA controllers, and then 6 inches for the actual drive. So I'm going to end up with shelves with 1-inch spacers in between the drives, and then on the back I'm using these guys will actually be hanging down from the top shelf, so that when you slide the drive in, it'll come up against this, and then you'll have your ports available. The drives are just going to sit in there on the shelves. They're not actually going to get mounted in anyway. Everything's going to get secured to the wall, and hopefully this works out. So this is the spacing of how the hard drives are going to go, and I left enough room so that there could be, a gap for airflow, and then eventually if I add fans to keep them cool, there'll be room. So I'm taking the parts that are actually going to go to the back like this, and I'm using them for spacers. And I'll take a drive out. And it's 4 1/4, so I'll measure 4 1/4 and make sure that every single one of these is 4 1/4 from both sides. So I measured out and marked all these shelves, and now I'm going to attach this to the back of each one, and then I'll add the dividers, and then these will actually get stacked like this, so that this is the top. Now we just add the dividers. And I'm just using the weight of the next shelf to hold it all together. And I'll throw the hard drives on top for a little extra weight. Now that these are all set, we're just going to glue them all together, and then I've got the sides to make sure they're all lined up, and then we put it together. All this stuff now is to pre-drill and screw on the back. I'm going to see how it works with screws, because this is how all the weight is going to be pulling out. But at the same time, I want to be able to take it off so that I can get to the motherboard and power supply, which I still haven't figured out how I'm going to mount that yet, but we'll figure it out. That's not a good sign. There it is. I just need to put it together and see how it works. So it turns out I screwed up the height because I had to cut off the backs of these to get the power supply to fit, and then I really should have brought that up high enough to plug in the cables and stuff. So basically these bays aren't usable. Just this one up here, which I left the wood in. Alright, and here it is installed. I just had to move everything around So these guys are sitting on a shelf that was already here, and hopefully everything comes up okay. Okay, let's check and see if we can connect to it. And it's up.